Right. Looks like we are live. Hold on for a second here. I need to turn the volume on my display off. So, again, welcome back. I guess this is another Open Studio design session. I'm trying out a new setup, so please let me know in the live chat if the audio is off or if any video problems arise. I have updated my setup so that I now have a shotgun mic mounted on top of my A7R4. So hopefully the audio quality should be better, but I can't really test that myself, so I'm relying on your feedback to help, I guess, adjust that. But in any case, welcome back to the Open Studio design session. I know this is an unusual time for me to be doing this stream, but last week on Friday, it was actually my mom's birthday, so I decided to take the night off and actually spend time with family. We went out for a nice dinner, even in these weird times. Went out and took precautions and everything. It's just, I had to, leave for a bit on Friday, so I wasn't able to stream. And during the weekend, I was home up in Massachusetts. So again, I wasn't able to stream, but I'm trying to make up that stream now. I wasn't able to yesterday due to technical difficulties, as well as just talking to friends and stuff like that. Today I am just trying to make up for Friday's stream where I just postponed that for a bit. Last weekend we also had a stream, and that was to replace this coming Friday's stream, so I won't be able to stream this Friday, but so I guess after today we'll have to wait until, I think it's like the 12th. Yeah, it's the 12th. That's when I'll next be able to stream. So again, so like logistics aside, I think this is pretty standard for a live stream. Just let me know if there's any stream quality issues. I'm really looking for feedback if the audio is okay, if the video is okay. Again, I recently, if you're just joining now, I recently updated my live streaming setup. I have now a 4K capture card attached to the back of my monitor, which is a USB hub, and I'm using that to connect my camera to this setup. So now I can actually stream 4K for different scenes. So actually, let me just try that right now. Go to the right here. So now you can see the view from my camera, which is mounted on a tripod to my right. So hopefully this video quality is okay. I just wanted to verify that. Nobody's giving me any feedback, so I'm not really sure if it's all good. Maybe you guys can't hear me, but yeah, that's gonna be interesting. Can anyone comment whether or not you can hear me, or I see there's one other viewer other than myself, so can you just quickly say if the audio is good or video is good, or are they both laggy or bad or anything? Because otherwise, I could be talking to nobody right now. And all right, let's see here. Let's type something in the chat. Hello all, is audio doing okay? What about video? Is the audio with this? Okay, what about video? Let's see. Hopefully somebody can respond. Because I do have like a sound indicator here in OBS. It's just I don't have verification. Unless I actually put on my headphones, I guess I could do that. There's one viewer who's not not commenting, not chatting. So I wonder who that could be, but it'd be a great help if you could just give me feedback. I just gotta pair it to my computer real quick here. This is not good. It's freezing up for some reason. I have to end this process. New task. Let's try that again. I don't know why that took so much CPU. It's literally just Bluetooth settings. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Hello, can you hear me? Alright, so I think I'm gonna just use this setup because it's tried and true. I just tried to upgrade my audio game this stream, and I tried to use the microphone, the shotgun mic.
Alright, so I think I'm gonna just use this setup because it's tried and true.
Oh god. Alright. So sorry about that. Yeah, we could then audio cut out again. Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm switching in between my iPhone microphone and my full frame camera with a shotgun mic. So I tested out the mic from the camera and it seemed to work when I recorded locally onto my computer, but for some reason when I stream it's cut out. There's no audio at all. So yeah, it's back now. So sorry about that. That was like 10 minutes wasted just trying to debug this. I'll have to figure out how to get that shotgun mic working, but it's so unfortunate that it doesn't work. I thought it would, but in any case, when I make videos, that mic will be useful, I suppose. So right now we're using the audio from the iPhone 12 Pro Max that I am running. And this scene right here that you guys see is from my camera to the right, so that should be a 4K downsample to a 1080p, so it should be higher quality than last week, but it should be a clear picture. So that adds flexibility, right? So I have two scenes I can switch in between, which is here top down and the camera to the right. So I haven't really figured out automatic scene switching yet, so I'll have to do this manually every now and then. But hopefully with that sorted out, we can get started. I realized I did waste about 10-15 minutes just testing things out, but it's good for learning, I suppose. Good for debugging. This wasn't really meant to be a test stream. I tested out the recording capabilities yesterday, and it seemed absolutely fine, and the audio just, it worked and everything. It sounded very clear from that shotgun mic, but apparently when I live stream, it's not it's not working properly. So in any case, I guess we can get started. Welcome back to the Open Studio Design session. Again, this is intended to be kind of a working session. If you're new around here, there probably isn't a lot of new people here, but in case you're new and you're listening to this is really intended to be a working session where you can be working on your projects and I'll be working on mine. The reason why today's stream is on a Monday was that last Friday I had to actually spend some time with family because it was somebody's birthday. So I just spent some time, went home, enjoyed the weekend, and now I'm back here and ready to go. I won't be able to stream this week, on Friday because I'm actually having somebody over. Haven't told anyone yet, but it's just a friend, I guess. And we'll see how that goes. And, I'll see you guys after this stream. I will resume doing these streams on the 12th of February. So it'll be a little bit, but hopefully during that time I can finish up this project and just kind of show you guys where it's at in about a week or a week and a half at this point. But so just looking down at the chat here. Powerhouse Paper, Airplanes, Rogers, Benjamin Rogers. Are you related to me? No, that's just a coincidence. Benjamin Rogers, he shares both my name, my first name, Benjamin, or people don't really call me that. It's mostly Ben, but he shares my name as well as your name there. So, yeah, I guess, with that out of the way, with the logistics of that, the streams, how they're scheduled, I guess we can just dive right into the project here. So again, I'm sorry I couldn't stream last Friday. It was really something, last minute, and I just, I posted on my channel in my community tab. So like if you look under there, you should be able to see a post. And so basically, if you're wondering why I'm not streaming, you should check there for updates, or just, I guess, follow me on Twitter. But like, I don't have too many followers on Twitter, so it really doesn't make sense to like update there, because nobody is going to see it anyway. So I usually update on YouTube. So again, apologize for not streaming Friday, and I won't be streaming this Friday either. I'll be seeing you guys on the 12th after this stream today. So hopefully, maybe today we can go a little bit long. I'm aiming for 8 o'clock, but seeing how we wasted like 15 minutes in the beginning, I might do like a little bit extra to like 8:30ish. I do have to eat and do other things before tomorrow, because it is a work day. Usually I stream on Fridays because I can go later and I don't have to worry about different conditions about tomorrow. I guess like just having to wake up early for work and things like that. But anyways, I'm just getting off on a tangent now, but let's just dive right into this and see what we can do. So I guess just a progress update real quick here. Just a progress update real quick here. So if you look at the underside here, we've actually made quite a lot of progress. Well, I haven't shown you guys yet until now, but I've done a lot of paneling work. By a lot, I mean like 4 panels total, but these panels took such a long time to make that I don't even know if it's like worth showing in these streams. But so if you look right here in between the kind of landing gear nacelle area here, right? Okay, so the video is like cutting out a little bit, so if there's quality issues, I apologize. Again, this is new. I'm using 4K streams now, so it might be struggling to downsample and process. So I'm gonna try and make this work, but if it doesn't work, if you guys prefer 1080p, let me know. Again, sorry about that. So here you see the landing gear nacelle, right, and the panel in between here and the fuselage kind of smooths things out a little bit, and it's kind of a nice concave transition here. So I think I'm probably gonna add like another panel here, but I'm not gonna do it in this stream. I'm just gonna tell you guys what I'm gonna do. I'm probably gonna add one that's like a triangle shape between here, here, and here, and to just like taper that back in between these 2 panels right here. That'll create a good transition. And yeah, again, this video is like pixelated and stuff like that. I have to mess with the settings a little bit more, but I know 1080p works for sure. This is the first time I'm trying to stream in 4K, but like I don't think it's 4K. I think it's more like 4K sources, but it's downsampling to 1080p. Again, so sorry about that. I'm just like distracted today. So again, I'll be working on paneling the underside here. So that'll be good. And I won't do that this stream, I think. There's a lot of detail work that needs to be done. For example, this front portion here, right? This front nose gear fairing needs a little bit of work to get it to be smooth. So that's kind of that. I guess for today's stream, we're going to try and make the vertical stabilizers. We're going to create the boom and attach the actual surfaces to the vertical stabilizer. And I guess next time, if we get far enough today, we can actually start this process. But we're going to have to cut into these panels a little bit just to get rid of this lump here and just, you know, flatten things out a little bit. And we're going to mount the two booms here, and the vertical stabilizers will be back here, extended beyond the main wing. And the reason for that is that, you know, when you're at high angles of attack, you want to be able to maintain that stability. You don't want your plane to stall out. So that should help with that. Again, so the video from this, it's really bothering me. So let me know if you guys can see it, or if it's bothering you guys. Like it's like pixelated, and you know, it's having a rough time. I think I might just change this back to 1080p. 1920 by 1080. Yeah, that might be better. 30 frames per second. There we go. Oh, I don't think I can change it once I start. Okay, that kind of sucks. Anyways, again, let me know if, you know, send a live chat if it's bothering you guys. But just the settings for next time, I guess. 1080, it seems like it's the kind of upper limit of this thing here. All right, so yeah, today we're gonna make the vertical stabilizers. So to get started, I'm just gonna grab stuff that I have here that should be able to. Yeah, I get to switch the scene real quick here just to give you guys a different perspective. So I have like some thoughts about the design of this vertical stabilizer. It's probably going to be more than what I've done before, which to me isn't surprising. Yeah, it looks fine on your end. It doesn't have any pixelation. All right, that's good. Yeah, because when I view my stream here and in OBS, it has a little bit of artifacts and things like that when I move a little quickly. I know this second one here is okay. It's just my phone. Happy Friday. Yellow 14A's. Happy Friday. Yeah, it's not Friday, I realize, but you know, it's it is what it is. You gotta make up for lost time in terms of streams. This is how I keep myself committed to spending a certain amount of time in this hobby. So let me see here. I think I put my sketchbook in my backpack. Let me grab that real quick. Sorry about that. Alright, so got my sketchbook here. Might be able to see it, but oh yeah, I gotta switch back to the main camera, top-down view here. Alright, so I'm gonna make sure I don't show you guys the secret project or other sketches here. I don't have any secret projects. This is actually my secret project. This is the Astra, but I'm now doing it live, so I don't know. It is what it is. Oh yeah, here's a sketch of the aircraft design. Right, it's kind of similar to what we have. You know, just a rough silhouette here, and you know, the two landing gear coming together like that. So we're building this part in the back. That's what we're going to go for. So I'm just gonna scroll through here, see where I put the designs for the SCF-16 that I still haven't finished. Oh yeah, that's a future project. Oh yeah, it's literally the first page here. This is the design for the vertical stabilizers. I think that might be a little bit too tall. I'm not sure. We'll have to prototype and see what size works. Looks crystal clear. All right, that's good. Yeah, it's just there's a little bit of artifacting on my end, which is probably my computer not being able to handle things, but yeah, because it's driving two displays, and also this program is requiring some usage. So that said, I guess we can get started. I do want to make it kind of colorful. That's really, I guess I don't really do color all that much. I don't do like surface finishing, but I will make it kind of dual colored, I want to say, if not fully like just varied in color. I'm not making any sense right now. I'm so sorry. All right, so let's see here. I think I have a plan. I'm gonna just remind myself now. So the boom is probably gonna be made out of straw, I want to say, just to keep things light. So straw boom, right? Boom. There we go. M. All right, and so I think the color is gonna be mainly gray. Gray. Main. And we're gonna have white trim, white tip, white tip, and maybe orange leading edge, I think. Yeah. Thanks. Beautiful sketch. Looks like the aircraft you're making. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like when I design things, I kind of go back and forth, right? Like, so I have an initial concept. I might draw that and end up making something that doesn't exactly look like what I initially drew. And then later on, when I iterate, it becomes a little bit more, I guess, solidified, the design, right? So, and then I just draw the design again, and this time a little bit more realistic, matching the whatever we have. So this is kind of a result of that process. So I'm gonna actually raise exposure a little bit. It looks a little dark in this video. There we go. That's a little better. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's like all sorts of audio and video issues today. I apologize if it doesn't look great. This is probably RP005. I'm already showing you guys my designs. Just, you know, I don't know. I might make that, may not make that, I don't know. Anyways, alright, we gotta get going here. We're at 6:30 almost, and we haven't done anything. Again, technical difficulties, I do blame that, but I also blame me being distracted. So I'm just grabbing some raw materials here to get ready. Okay, so we want a white tip. So our design is probably going to look something like this, right? This is the shape that I've gone with. In the past, I always gone with a flat top, and you guys can't see this, but I've gone with kind of this kind of a design, which, I mean, it looks great and everything, but for an M variant, for something special, I think I'm going to do this, which makes it look a little bit more interesting, has a little bit of visual accent there. Again, the exact dimensions, I'm not really sure yet. We'll have to prototype that. There's a varying range of design geometries, but we'll have to eventually choose one to go with. So see how that goes. So we'll have white here, and I think it's going to be orange here, right? So this is just gonna, I think, so what I did here was I drew it up. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. So divided into fourths. So half, right, and then half again. That's kind of where we want the boundary there. And then this goes up until here. Okay, so this, again, this is a messy sketch. This is not, this is going to be the orange, right? And then the top here is going to be white. And then this is going to be like a gray. I don't know if like gray appears darker than orange when you make it in black and white. But let's see what that looks like, right? Kind of something like that. That's not very clean. I'll just lighten this up a little bit, but you kind of get the idea. This is like a light gray, but it's actually orange in real life, so I have to go with that. And that's the thing. I don't have like markers or anything. I don't have like marker or Primzacolor markers. Oh god, I can't speak. Anyways, I'm not really a color guy. I just kind of use whatever material the color, whatever color the material is. There we go. Use your words. I think I also might want to make the trailing edge white. I'm not sure. In which case, this would just go blank here. That would be on the same line, but I feel like that's kind of distracting when you have two areas like that. It's just like visually it's not cohesive. We could go with an all orange vertical stabilizer, but that'll look kind of weird. And once the sunlight hits it and, kind of destroys the dye, it's going to look faded. So that's also why like I'm contemplating like the color scheme here. Keeping it mostly gray helps keep a uniform look. Yeah, so that's my only, I guess, concern here. There's really no reason for it to be orange, I guess. So I'm just trying to decide between white, orange, and gray, kind of what the what kind of look we're trying to go for. If you guys have suggestions, please feel free to comment them. But so I actually let me do this real quick. This is going to be kind of risky, but you can actually open up a new window here. Let's see, on this screen right here. All right, I'm gonna search something to show you guys. So, all right, here, let me switch to this here. Desktop right. All right. it's kind of a test flight, like a flight test aircraft scheme in general. So bro, no sound. Yeah, no audio. All right, so I think when I switched scenes to my desktop, it just canceled out the sound for some reason. Let me adjust that real quick here. So right camera, we have iPhone 12 Pro Max. On the desktop, I only have the Logitech camera, so I have to add like an iPhone audio source to a video where there is no yeah, we didn't get to hear any of that. So let me just adjust this real quick here. Okay. Yeah, just drag that like below everything. There we go. Can you guys hear me now? It's cool. Alright, yeah, I just gotta lock that in place and do the same for the left here. I'm not really gonna use my left monitor, so I'm not gonna do that one yet. It's gonna cause an infinite loop of windows. Well, it's already infinite here, but can you guys hear me? Hello? Hello, hello? Yes, sir. All right. So I apologize for that. I am still figuring out all of this, but apparently when you do this scene, if it doesn't have like a correct audio source, it doesn't play anything. It doesn't just use your iPhone. So again, I apologize for that. So all right. So yeah, as I was saying, I'll have to say that again, but you know, kind of the scheme, like color scheme that we're going with here is kind of inspired based off of this plane right here. Just gonna grab that real quick. This is the Mihai Su-30SM. It's like the export version of the Su-30. Has canards here. So kind of this whole project was kind of inspired off of this design here. You know, like with the orange and gray, right? That paint scheme is definitely here. You know, orange and gray. It looks a little darker in this image. But, you know, basic concept of orange, gray, white, that kind of color scheme that's been, you know, in the development. And also just some of the features in this design really, you know, encapsulate that kind of feel, I feel like, you know. So there's like the canards which point down. Again, Sukhois have a tendency to point their canards down when you pitch up rapidly. The leading edge slats, which, you know, on takeoff, let me just switch over again here. On takeoff, this is kind of, let's see here, we gotta grab a scene here with the leading edge slats. There we go, there we go. Well, that's, you can't really see that, but maybe this one here. Yeah, you can see that kind of. So it's like the leading edge slats are a key feature of this aircraft. You know, I think they really focus in on some of the smaller mechanics when they developed this game. So this slat looks really nice, and I, you know, incorporated that into the design. The downwards pointing canards, you know, I use that to also point down. I guess that's kind of like the default position for my aircraft here. So this is just Google Images. I don't play simple planes, but there are other people on here that I guess modeled this aircraft in CAD or Simple Planes or things like that. Again, I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of like what the inspiration is and kind of go from there. I know this my plane isn't exactly like this, but the kind of basic idea is there. So this is kind of the color scheme without the markings of Mihai, the ace pilot. So that's kind of what we got there. I actually have a model SU-30 SM. I just haven't built it yet, but it's a very beautiful design, and this paint scheme is very distinctive. It's just for our purposes, because we're going to leave this in sunlight most of the time, it's going to probably be a display model. We can't really have this bright orange take up such a large area, because if you look at the previous prototype here, just grab it real quick. Whoa. You look at the previous prototype, it's all faded out. You see that? This used to be the same orange as this. So you can see the difference, and you can see why I'm apprehensive about putting that orange as the main surface for the vertical stabilizers. It's just going to fade out to that, and it's just going to look terrible. So I think the main color will be gray. Let me just put this back real quick. All right, there we go. Oh, you also notice that there's a ton of snow. The Northeast is absolutely getting pounded with snow these couple days, but we can continue doing our thing unless the power goes out, in which case, I guess I'm screwed, but hopefully that doesn't happen. All right, so I think we've decided based on functionality, that this is going to be gray. It's just this accent, I don't know if it should be orange. Also this tail, like if there should be anything here at all, because it doesn't really make sense visually. I think this is pretty distracting if you have orange, gray, and white. It's just, I can either have a white trailing edge or an orange leading edge. So I don't know what exactly I'm going to do. If you guys have suggestions, please feel free to comment. But I think for consistency's sake, I might do orange, because that'll match the leading edge slats, or leading edge flaps, right? But I kind of want to test out the white trailing edges here. Yeah, it's an interesting thing, I suppose. Because on the Mihai SU-30 SM, it was two-tone. There were two colors, that was orange and white. But here, we're trying to make it gray. So actually, that gray is already one of them, I guess. So now, which accent color do we want? Do we want orange or white? That's the question here. If orange, it's going to be on the leading edge. If white, then I'm going to keep the trailing edge here. Or I guess white could be on the leading edge as well. That adds a little bit of color distinction. I want to include all three colors, that's the thing. So we could have so the base is going to be white, right? And then we're going to have a second layer that's going to look like this. That's going on the outside here, which is gray. But then on the other side, it's missing a chunk. That'll expose the white on the other side. And then we can kind of do like a white, I want to say like white and orange split tone. So it can be like orange on the outside to get like attention, but like you can see the other side, it's gonna be like the other color. I don't know if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense. All right, I guess we can just get started here and make something. This sketch is, I'm just gonna put it off to the side here. I'm gonna switch scenes real quick just so you guys have something new to look at. Been live for 40 something minutes. All right, so we need white. So I have white here. That's the nice thing about white, is that it doesn't really change color all that much. It might yellow a little bit, but overall it still looks pretty white over time. Gray fades out and orange also fades out. So I don't know like how to prevent that from happening, but it's kind of a fact of life, I suppose. So I guess in that case, we wouldn't be doing any trailing edge modifications. If we want to include both, it definitely cannot be the same length. That's going to look really bad. Again, I'm just thinking right now. Kind of a stabilizer do we want? I think for that one, it was very slanted. For this one, we could go for a more stocky, kind of narrow, but like longer look, kind of like what we have here. So this is like a thing that's not very critical, because all we need is the right amount of vertical surface area to keep it stable and yaw. But we'll see how that goes here. It's, you know, we can make it fatter here in the back and truncate it like that. That'll make it look a little bit sharper, I want to say. Right, so that's kind of the same angle, right? Almost the same angle. It's not exactly, I'm not a machine, but you get the idea, the rough idea here. That little notch is there to, you know, because when you have a hard landing, it's going to be at a high angle of attack. That's where it hits the ground. Also, if we're doing like a straw integration, then this isn't really all that necessary. I have to account for the straw as well. That's another thing. If I don't account for the straw, then you see, this looks very stubby, right? So I need to account for the straw. So if the straw is being attached, then we have to go all the way down here. So the actual shape of this thing is all the way down here. And let me just erase this, because that was just for illustration purposes. Right, so if we want it to look like this, then we have to cut it here, or just, I suppose we could just do that, but I feel like with the straw, we don't want that extra length on this edge. Kind of looks weird. Again, this is like not very flight critical. I say that, but it's like, as long as you have the vertical surface, you should be all set. So this is more of a, you know, personally, like what I think is aesthetic, and you know what you think is aesthetic. So that's kind of where creative design comes into play. I'm sure like on real life airplanes, like, you know, fighter jets, at least 5th gen, they have stealth requirements and weight requirements, but we don't really care all too much about weight and stealth. We're not building anything like that, so the shape is a little bit more free. There's no optimal solution, right? That's the thing, with unlimited budgets, you can optimize the heck out of everything. With unlimited time, you can optimize the heck out of every single feature. But we're not in the business of doing that. We have to complete this project soon so I can get a video out for this year. This project has been in the works for over a year, I want to say, at this point. I think we're going to cut the straw as well. We're going to cut it like this so that we can allow this back edge here. Okay, you guys can't really see, but let me switch back to the top-down view here. So I was talking as if you guys could see, but you guys couldn't see, so please let me know through live chat if you can't see and want to see something. That was really awkward, but I was saying, like, this edge right here is going to get cut back so that this space here can actually fold back and forth along this kind of hinge line, so that I can adjust the yaw and also kind of the pitch, right? Because you have two vertical stabilizers that are in a V shape and they both point up and push the tail down, then you're pitching up essentially. It's not very effective as an elevator, but it does have that effect. And on something like the F-22, where the back, is angled like, very extremely, I don't know, I can't talk today, but it actually moves outwards to push the nose and just general aircraft down towards the ground. So, you have your F-22 that looks something like this, right? I'm just going to sketch it out real quick. And then you have your wings, and then your two vertical stabilizers. The surfaces actually move out like that, and that causes a ton of drag, which helps it land. And on takeoff, it goes in the other way to pitch the nose up. So that's very interesting. It does all sorts of different things with its control surfaces. There's a nice lecture. I actually recommend it, highly recommend it if you're into aircraft control. Just like control and flight dynamics and things like that. There's a lecture by this retired Air Force pilot. Maybe he's still active, I don't remember exactly, but he flew the F-16, I believe, and F-22, or was it the F-15 and the F-22? But it's an MIT lecture, so I would highly recommend search up MIT OpenCourseware F-22 flight controls, and it's amazing. Like, he talks about his experiences in the cockpit of an F-22. That's like, you don't get that everywhere, just anywhere. So highly recommend it. It's a great lecture. Kind of learn a lot. One of the things that he mentioned, I just can't let it go. It's kind of really interesting to me. So in a bank and turn, right, because your aircraft is maneuvering and you're banking at an angle and there's very high loads on your wings, right? Your wings are pushing up a lot. To counter that, to allow your aircraft to be structurally sound, they actually put a little bit of up aileron on the side that you're rolling towards. On the side that you're rolling away from, if that makes any sense. And so it's kind of counterintuitive, right? Like, if you roll to this side right here, I guess from front, it would be, if you roll clockwise, you normally would have this aileron up and this aileron down. But on an F-22, this aileron also goes up because the tail actually gets most of the movement, but the wing, you don't want to overload it. That's why it applies up aileron here to apply force down to make that a little bit smaller. So it's a very interesting aircraft design knowledge, and highly recommend it. It's about an hour long, but it's very informative, so it's good stuff. But anyways, back to designing this vertical stabilizer. Sorry, I got really distracted there. I think, should we add a glove? I don't think we want a glove. I think I want to make this thing look pretty clean in its design. There's already going to be a fairing of sorts here, right? It's going to come out and smooth this transition to the airplane from the vertical stabilizer, right? So this is going to be mounted on the wing, which is going to be right about here, right? So we're going to have to cut out a little space there for this integration, but vertical stabilizer here, for the most part, should look something like this, right? I'm just coloring in the straw to get a better feel for the composition here. So that's the thing. Like, I say composition, but it's like 3D design, but it still kind of has some elements of 2D graphic design and composition, right? Especially for something like a flat surface here. But I don't know. I'm just being distracted here. You know, kind of all the fields kind of meld together when I make things and design things. It's like, well, you need a good balanced composition. That's how you design good things. I feel like good things are always proportionate to what you need, what looks good, and yeah, that's kind of my overall feeling towards that. So this is gonna be white. I think we might go with white, gray, orange here. So this is gonna be the same height as this, right? So you have two separate height. So this is X, this is also X, and it's going to come back to this vertical line here where it goes through that top vertex, right? We're just making things look clean, right? You got to align things to a grid and just bring that down here parallel to the leading edge. So this is parallel, right? I think this is like 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to say it's about divided into fourths. So this is 3/4. I want to say maybe it's not even fourths. Maybe it's fifths at this point. So this is 1/2, 2/4, and this is 1/4 right here. And the bottom here is, I suppose we could just call it negative 1/4, right, from 0 here, to avoid using fifths, because I absolutely hate fifths. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how to split into fifths, but yeah, I had to do that when I launched my planes. Yeah, that's an interesting point you make. I do have to make a handle, but it's kind of not too important, I suppose. I don't want to waste time doing that here. I want to do something new. But you know, this is kind of the general feel for the vertical stabilizer. I think this size is actually about right also. I'm gonna just correct the geometry a little bit and see what we can do here. So this is about 1 cm. 1 cm brings you there. And let's just make that go down. I just slim this surface down a little bit so it looks a little bit more slender. Some angle like that, and wait, this angle is not exactly the same as the back angle here. That's okay. I don't think we were necessarily aiming for that, but we need to make this line crisp. And let's see where this drops down here. This brings it to 4.5 about. 4.5. So that's the thing, when you don't use a grid, this is what happens. Okay, that looks kind of good. And I do know that straw is not going to be that wide, but once you squish it down, it is going to be a little wider. So I think I'm going to keep it like this. We could also actually, you can put this all the way to the end here. I don't know why I did that, but for Just trying to get a vertical stabilizer, man. In which case we would shade that in. That would make it super durable here, but this is one clean look. There's no tape joint here. It's just a tape joint here. So the only thing is we would have to cut this in a little bit to allow for the surface to move. Yeah, so this whole thing is going to be kind of hinged. It's going to be orange here. It's going to be white on the inside. So white is going to do 2 layers here, and then I'm going to wrap it with gray. White, gray, and then on the outside here, oh yeah, we're going to have to erase part of this. On the outside we'll do orange, and then on the inside we'll do white. That kind of makes sense. So we have white double layer, gray layer here, going all the way back because we don't have any trailing edge color here, and for the front will be orange on the outside and white on the inside. White, gray, gray. That's kind of what we're going for, I think. I don't know. I think this is good. Let's see here. 5. Actually, let's reduce that back here. I don't like that extra bit there. What we can do is modify this edge right here. Just want to see how this measures up here. 5. 4. Let's get it to 4 here. This is interesting because at this kind of shape, this edge is not parallel to that front edge anymore, so it actually kind of gives it a notch shape instead of a, I don't know, trapezoid parallelogram shape. I'm not being really clear, I guess, but I'm just gonna stream of consciousness, going for it. Yeah, I suppose this is like pretty decent. Excuse me. I think it looks okay. All right. I think if this is good, we might as well cut this out, see how it does. We might have to scale it, which is going to be hard. But where did I put my scissors? I'm trying to find my scissors. Oh, it's right there. Got it. All the other sketches are on the outside, but we're done with those, so I don't think it matters too much. Okay, we've cut that, and edge right about here. This is just the initial size. Test, I guess. So it'll be coming off right about here. sense. Let me just switch the camera to maybe here. Let's see here, it's gonna mount right here. Doesn't look too bad. Looks a little bit small. But I don't know if we need really large vertical stabilizers in the first place. Yeah, that is another thing to consider. It's this straw is going to be white, or probably going to be orange because it's orange right there. So I suppose that makes this. We can make this white in that case because otherwise it looks weird, kind of like a orange notch right there, like V shape. I don't think I would like that. So no, this is a little bit small, I think. We need to make this maybe a little bit bigger, I want to say. I could just increase the size of it by a little bit. Let's see if this shape matches up. 5 right here. Drop that straight down. It's about at, okay, so not quite 3.5. Let's make that happen. Under front. Go back here. 3.5. Alright, let's see here. Switch back to the top. Okay, so that's 3.5. 5. I think this is about 6 right here. And then this is okay. Clean that up a little bit. Oh, it's perfectly straight. No, I think it is. It's just this right or left edge here that looks a little off. Yeah, so we'll do that. That's actually vertical. It's all good, I believe. See what height is here. It's almost 5. That would be 5 right there. Five. This doesn't make any sense. I'm sorry, but we're essentially clicking everything to a measurement, if that makes any sense. So if you imagine like a grid, just like this map here, or on this side because you guys can't see, this grid is kind of what we're trying to click things to, right? So here to here to here to here to here, something like that. But we're using centimeters, obviously, and these squares here are, I think, half-inch increments. I really should get a... I don't know. I mean, I kind of switch between units, right? Like, I use cm, I also use inches. I use whatever is convenient. In this case, my ruler has cm. You should be doing this in real life. Your product depends on your dimensions, but for something like this, for a hobby like this, you can get more precise measurements by using centimeters and large scale. You can use inches to get a feel for things. Actually, because like I like to do this kind of ratioing, right? So if you have like fourths and halves and 1/4, then it's easier to actually use inches for that because you can divide very easily. That's kind of how their base works. You can split it in half, you can split a half of half, and so on. With this geometry here, we're just clicking it to a grid value, right? So if you notice that our grid fundamentally runs on cm in this case, which is the units of the ruler. If we want something to look clean, this is my general rule of thumb. I like to click it to like a half or a full centimeter value. What I have here is this vertex right here is at 3.5, which I wrote down right here. It might not be very clear, but then this one right here is 1 cm apart from that at about 4.5, right? And then at 5, it's the end here. And it goes up until about here, which is 6, right? Goes up until, I think the tippity tip here, the very top, is 5, and slightly below that is 4.5 almost. It's not exact, but it's very close to 4.5. So everything kind of clicks into a grid value, which makes the proportions kind of almost exact, but they're not really exact. I can't tell you what the proportions are, but generally speaking, when I do this, it looks right to me. So I don't know, it might be kind of OCD, but it really makes everything look aligned. And it's like when I eyeball things, right? When I make other features in my planes, when everything clicks together, that's when you have harmony, right? So keeping things on a grid, it may or may not help you. It has to be meaningful proportions, right? So like obviously we're not gonna make this edge too long. That will look weird, right? So it's kind of kind of an art in that sense, right? So you're trying to come up with the proper ratio, trying to come up with the proper proportions. And there really is no equation for that. It's kind of based on gut feel. Of course, if you're designing an actual airplane that you're going to be sitting in and flying in, you would have to do some calculations because you don't want to go on a gut feeling. But for something like this, for a glider, and for something like this, which is kind of like I want to say it's kind of like a sculpture of sorts, right? It's a functional sculpture. You want to go based off of that ratio, that gut feeling of intuition, how big something should be, right? So when I tested out this vertical stabilizer right here, this little test cutout here, I thought it was a little bit too small for this particular plane. It just looks off, and so let me just switch scenes real quick. So I decided to actually make it a little bit bigger, which is it's what, like maybe 10% bigger on length, and that actually, when it translates to area, that's 1.1 squared, which is 1.1 squared is 1.21, which is that's 20%, 21% larger surface area. So it doesn't look that much larger, right? Because if you measure the length, it's not that much of a difference. But when you convert it to area, it becomes larger, right? So that's kind of how we're really bad at, as humans, we're really bad at interpreting proportions of areas, but we're good at interpreting proportions of lines, right? So that's also another thing that you have to remember when you're proportioning things. Again, I just like to go by gut feeling and click it to the nearest grid value, right? That makes everything perfectly ratioed and things like that. So again, that's kind of I guess a tip. Take that to heart if you want, but if you don't, that's fine too. I know a lot of car designers, they don't really think about that. But when you look at the design, it's like, okay, well, it's roughly a third. The wheels are a third of the height of the car, or whatever, things like that. I'm just going off of just randomly saying stuff, but that might not be the case. They have like a certain proportion for certain types of cars, right? You want an aggressive look, kind of slender look, versus a boxy kind of look, right? So there's shape and curves and ratios. That's kind of where the art happens. All right, so I think this is good. This is a good template. Now I'm going to cut this out. And so this, I don't know, this, I'm putting the straw here. I suppose I'm putting this straw here. We're going with this configuration where the straw goes all the way to the back, I guess. Yeah, that makes more sense. So we don't have to add additional top camera here, so you don't need any additional material here to stick into the straw, right? It's not going to be like that. It's going to be like this. And if we don't have enough area, we could definitely add material and see how that does. But I think both look okay to me. It's just, I don't know. I kind of want to see how this does first. If we need more area, we'll add it in when we transfer the template to the cardstock. Suppose. So here we go. Just cutting this out. That's kind of the size of this vertical stabilizer. And see that switch scenes right here. So you can see the difference that this makes, right? This is approximately what we had for the 1.1 multiplier. This is what we have afterwards. It's a lot bigger, but the thing with a lot, with the stabilizer that's a lot bigger, is that you can put it at a more oblique angle, which I think we will go for. It's just a tiny bit more weight, but the stream is not capturing the audio correctly. It's might be glitching out. Let's see here. The USB connection is a little slow right now. It's at 5 megabytes per second. So yeah, let me know if it continues. You know, the audio is still bad. If it's still bad, then I don't know. I might just keep on going and not talk all that much. Alright, I have restarted my stream. Is the audio better now? Just testing here. The audio is terrible. When was that sent? Yes, it's better now. Okay, so yeah, I'm not really sure why it got garbly and messed up and distorted, but hopefully now it should be better. I just restarted OBS and the stream immediately continued, so I apologize for that. I think I'm going to reduce the resolution back to 1080. I mean, it's 1080. What you're seeing right now is already 1080p. It's just the sources coming into my computer are 4K right now, and it's downsampling to 1080p. So that's a lot of processing, and it might be buffering, the video. So now it should be a little bit better, and you guys can actually enjoy this a little more. Yeah, I don't think 4K works, at least not for the phone. The 4K for the actual camera is doing all right, I think, but it's just the phone one that's like a little laggy, and on my OBS window here it's a little pixelated, but yeah, the actual camera is fine, the real camera. So anyways, back to this. We really got to get going here. It's like 1 hour and a half, 1.5 hours, and we haven't really done much at all, but let's just get going here. All right, let's make the vertical stabilizer happen. I think this is the right size. If this is not the right size, we can always cut down, but I would like to not do that, because that ruins proportions and things like that. But if needed, can always Alright, so I'm just trying to be efficient with the material that I have right here. So this vertical stabilizer, you might have realized, after it's all said and done, it will have approximately 6 layers of cardstock, which should make it really, really durable. So let's hope that it's very reliable. I think it will be, especially if you reinforce the leading edge, and that kind of, I don't know, structurally it stiffens up the front but makes the back still relatively lighter. But I know this is going to be like, what, 4 layers still in the back, so we'll see how it does, but I have confidence that it'll work. It's just going to be a little heftier than usual. That leading edge cover for the vertical stabilizer will also add kind of a rounder lip at the front, and that will allow it to not separate the airflow. So it's kind of the general idea there. Yeah, much cleaner. That's good. Yeah, I apologize. There's like so many problems with the stream. I think going back to 1080p might help, but I also want a decent quality for you guys to see, so maybe it's an audio setting, not necessarily a 4K setting, but I don't know. When I changed it to 4K, I did not touch the audio settings at all, other than the microphone that I tried to use from my full frame camera, but it didn't really work. So I'm going back to the iPhone microphone, and the only thing I changed is resolution, so it might be like taking up CPU RAM or graphics or something like that, which is why the audio just started to slow down. Wait, no. Yeah, take up like CPU power, which might affect the audio. There we go. It's graphics. I think I have a decent graphics card in this laptop, but it's just, I don't know, it's probably not the best, but it's pretty beefy already. So yeah, there we go. We can actually just get another one going here. this is... I'm just trying to figure out where to place this to efficiently use material here. Yeah, you might hear a little bit of engine noises from outside. It's an absolute mess here in the Northeast. There's a freaking blizzard, 8 to 12 inches of snow, and people are trying to unbury their cars, which I will have to do, but that's a problem for tomorrow. That's not a problem for today. Okay, that's a little sketch, but okay, there we go. Yeah, same template, just mirrored over here. And just move this up a little bit. Apologize for that. Okay, so we have our two templates there for the two vertical stabilizers. I think I'm gonna just draw everything first before I cut and assemble everything. What we need next is the cover. Right, so this, again, I'm trying to get the geometry right here. The tip of this should be at, what, 1 centimeter down. I think this is about 2 centimeters. Wow, that's almost perfect. See, when you line things up in a grid and have a good eye for proportion, things just click into place. Not to pat myself on the back or anything, but it just tends to be the case for me when I do that. Okay, so we just need to get this shape here, and believe, okay, so I don't think we're using orange. I think the only orange that we're gonna have is on the boom itself. So I think we're gonna go with a white leading edge here, which, if we're doing that, oh yeah, we're adding on top, right? So we're going from here to here, just a light prototype here. Okay, that's where the straw is going to be. This is a little bit too narrow. I think I'm going to do a taper. Let's see here. Taper it to 1 centimeter root here. So I know I said parallel, but it doesn't look visually balanced. So I might add a little bit more thickness, wideness here at the base. They're really going at it out there. Damn. Alright, so here we go. Okay. That's much better. Lighten these lines a little bit. It's still going to be there, but it'll be lighter. And yeah, okay. Now this can probably fit somewhere like this. It's a little bit sketchy because the geometry that we want is on the inside of what we want to cut here. So if we cut this, then we can have a very easy time getting the shape, but since we don't want to cut it because I want to preserve this template, to trace that edge there, and then that out of the way. And then I think the only thing we need left is the other corner here. Which is here. Okay. This is what we need in terms of flat geometry. This piece is not going to fold, I guess, across the base here. It's just going to be stuck to the end here. And what we're going to do is, okay, actually this is not right. Not right. Okay, I think I messed up a little bit. I forgot that this wasn't going all the way to the tip here. This was going, I believe, to maybe like half of that. Let's see. So like half a centimeter down. And then across like that. Okay, and it's going to come over here. Just going to darken this line right here a little bit. Get this over here. So something like that. So this piece actually has a little bit extension here, which is maybe doable. This is very sketch. Let's see here. Do we have enough space? Oh, just barely. Shit. All right. We can make do here. Also, I don't know why I'm doing this here, because it's not supposed to be white anyways. So I just wasted a lot of time tracing a shape that we won't even need. But the shape that we do need is this front edge here, so let's get that going. I'm going to do this, and it's going to mirror the front. Okay, here, let's see. No, that didn't really work. Okay, let's try this then. I think it would be easier to cut this, but I would like to not cut it. I don't know. I think I might have to cut it though. Here, how about this? I'll cut it partially. That should help us out. Moving that down here. Okay. And well, now that that's done, just gonna mirror that pattern on this other side here, which is very easy. Just line it up. Get that vertex down. Something like that. Yeah, we could just use this to copy another template. I know I said not to do that, but since we only have 2 pieces here, it's not like a series of cross sections that are constant. We can probably get by with using this as a template. Okay, so we're gonna cut this out, and then need gray for the shape here, because I'll cut that later. Let's see where we are with time. We're at 1 hour 46 minutes. I think we're gonna go to 2:30 today, so I got like 45 minutes left. There we go. And again, we're probably going to use the same strategy here, which is use the work piece to act as a template for the next piece. Alright. It's not good practice, but cut that out and get another tempo going. Alright, I need to stand up for a bit, stretch, everything. But you guys kind of get the idea here. We're just taking it step by step. In terms of structural reinforcements inside the vertical stabilizers, I was considering using paperclip, but I'm not sure if that's the best idea here. Like I said, I think straws should suffice. And so the plan with that is make the stabilizer first, and then maybe sandwich the stabilizer in between two of these small diameter straws here. Right? Sandwich it in between, and then stick this into here, into a large diameter straw. So that adds a lot of friction and it compresses everything together, so it like holds it really nice and tight. All right. Yeah, I am starting to lose patience with this. I think it's just problems with the stream today, and I don't know, it's a little over an hour 30. It's almost an hour 49 minutes, so let's see how that does. Yeah, but anyways, I think we should be approaching completion here. Okay, so I think we could start cutting things. I'm gonna start here because there's a lot of stuff to cut, but it really doesn't matter because it's all gonna be cut eventually anyways, so. I kind of noticed something about this project is that the white parts of the aircraft are kind of color-coded to mean that they might touch the ground. So they're kind of like the extremities of the aircraft, right? So, you know, the tip of the vertical stabilizers, the tip of the wings, I'm going to reinforce with a little bit of white cardstock. I'll have to reinforce the nacelles on the bottom as well for the landing gear. Just that area, and then the nose is also white, right? So it's like any place that could potentially impact the ground is white. That's like, there's two things that are going there. One, it adds contrast, right? So the extremities of the aircraft versus like a blue sky, for example, you'll see where the wings are, where the nose is, things like that. But also the white serves as an indicator of like heavy damage versus not so heavy damage, because when it crashes into the ground, it's going to get stained with dirt, with grass, things like that. So if it's white, it'll indicate whether or not the damage is severe or not on whichever side that, you know, little white piece of cardstock or paper is. So it's kind of a built-in, kind of a function, but I don't really want to say it's like a function. It is just an indicator, I suppose. It's for visibility purposes and testing purposes. I might have forgot to mention this earlier, but that orange is kind of a standard in aerospace. It's called International Orange. I don't think it's just limited to aerospace. It's like, it's kind of used as a flight test paint right? You have prototype F-16s, F-15s. They all have that distinctive orange wingtip look to them. So it's not just Mihai from Ace Combat 7, but they certainly got their inspiration from the experimental era of aircraft. At over Edwards Air Force Base and the Dry Lake. So that's very kind of aesthetically, that's kind of where Ace Combat got its inspiration, I feel like. So I'm just kind of leaning into that a little bit with the orange and white and gray here. I'm gonna just switch the perspective up a little bit here so you guys can see a different angle. Alright, so 2 vertical stabilizer main base cut out, ready to go. Just put the straps to the side there. This is the leading edge white strip that we are concerned with. Should be a very quick cut. Still gotta do it with quality though. Okay. Wow. Okay, that looks good. Now I just need to get this geometry again. I'm gonna utilize that edge right there. The nice thing about this is that it's cardstock, so it's a little easier to trace. Let me switch perspective again. Okay, there we go. And now we just have to cut that one out as well. All right. Let's see here. that's it for the white, I think. We do have to test out whether or not this geometry is right. So, way to do that is kind of fold it. Not just this piece, but also the regular stabilizers. 2 rulers, pinch, there we go. So you'll notice that I'm keeping the graphite side on the inside. That's to maintain aesthetics. Again, if you want like a kind of grungy aircraft look, definitely do with the graphite on the outside. I like a clean aesthetic, so that's why I'm doing this. Yeah, that looks decent. Doesn't look too bad. All things considered, it's not that bad. Yep, that's ready to go. All right, now I just have to cut this. There we go. Alright, so that's ready to go. We do need to trace this for the second piece. Just gotta make sure we don't waste too much material here. Okay, there we go. It's not easy to cut that. So go here. There we go. And last but not least, okay, yeah, that's really tough. There we go. Cut that. And I just realized we might need 4 of these. That's freaking annoying. Alright. Yeah, we need 4 of these because it needs to go on the inside and the outside. God damn it. Alright, yeah, that's the problem with this. It's really repetitive. Let's fold this first and see how that does. Get this out of the way here. Okay, that's ready to go. Right here we go, corner to corner. Fold that. More or less ready to go. These two, let's see how they're doing here. They're quite similar, which is good. We also need 2 more of these. Let's switch the view a little bit here. So we have 2 of these right here. We need another 2 because this fits here and fits here. You know, something like that. Right, looks good. But we also need 2 for the other stabilizer. So this is kind of what it looks like. It's not quite finished, but have a basic idea of what you're going to be able to see here. So this basically, let's look at one side here. That's covered, that's covered. Yeah, it's looking neat. And then this white piece here that we cut out earlier, it's just like stuck together. It's gonna fit right here, reinforce that front edge. You know, just layer everything down and it's gonna look nice. That's the whole purpose of this, is to look nice. Okay, so that's one stabilizer set right there. Second one right here. 2, and then we need a template from here to copy that shape. Alright, so we've got about 24 minutes left. Apologize if this is later than usual for you guys. Again, this is not a normal stream anyways, so let's see here. Okay. There's just too much clutter on this desk. Damn. Here we go. then you can flip it over. Get a similar edge here. Okay, so we're good with that. Now I just gotta cut 2 more. Should be all set to go after that. It's not perfect, but oh well. This is a tricky bit to cut, so just gonna have to be careful. Try our best. Alright, so this is about it, I think. I mean, of course, there's a little bit extra here, but we can always chop that off, which is good. I think this one here, let's see here. How does that look? Yeah, there's a little bit extra, which is okay. That's, you know, better than not having that. Better to have extra and cut away than not have enough. Okay, so not sure if I want to put straws in the middle. I don't think so, because if you put something like this inside, it makes it a little thick. It's hard to control that. But even like a third, that's, you can actually see, if this ends up being used, let's see here, let's just see from another perspective that there's this, so we put a little bit of thickness in here. Okay, actually let's switch back to top down. So if we put the straw in here, then it gives it a little thickness at the base, and then it tapers off thinner to the top, which I think, you know, that looks quite nice actually. So I think I might do that, but it's very slight. It's a very, very slight geometry. But I think what we have right now is actually good. It's about, what, 1.5 centimeters, I want to say. See here, let's see, 1.5 centimeters. Okay, that looks good. And then just need to trim this straw a little bit. There we go. Alright, so we will have to squish this down, and I'll place it here. This is when we start assembling, I believe. So just grab a bit of tape here. Should we just cram it down here? So I ended up aligning it with a tip here, and my plan is to slice off the excess on the outside. So hopefully that gives you some insight as to what you can do to give your vertical stabilizer a little bit of thickness and, you know, taper off to thin tips here. So it's a small detail, but aesthetically I think it looks great. It looks very real almost. Yeah, definitely not the full length. If you do the full length, then it'll be really thick near the top. So that's kind of a nice trick, I suppose. I'm gonna seal off the trailing edge here. That's the other thing that's nice about white, is that it hides tape really well. It doesn't look like you have tape, but you actually do. My early designs had white, they were all white. It wasn't until recently that I started using colored cardstock, which adds a little bit more interest into the design, I suppose. Something like that. That looks good. It's a very sharp, very clean vertical stabilizer here. We'll have to tape this area here up until the straw. Just grab a little piece like that. Half on, half off. So I think I actually taped it down a little too hard. Kind of reduce the thickness at the base, which I guess is not a huge problem because we're adding thickness anyways. So it's just whatever you do to one side, you want to make sure you do the same to the other. So that's why I am also cutting this again for the other side here. Just press it flat, doesn't matter where. But what does matter is that you get that attached. Okay. And you just cut this off. The bottom a little bit here. Okay, and then trailing edge first. Half on, half off. Really crush the adhesive in. Flip it over. Seal it up. Crush the adhesive in again. And do the same thing here. Gonna try and apply the same level of tension that we did on the other side. Half on, half off. Crush it in. Right. Flip it over, press down, compress, fold over, and crush that in. And there we go. We have a little bit of thickness in the front. It's very, very slight. Yeah, it's almost like you have to coax it to open up a little bit. There we go. It was like taped shut on accident. Just give it a little bit of thickness here. It's gonna be very thin either way, so not gonna be too thick. This is where the fun part begins. So we have about 8 minutes left. Can we assemble all of this? I think so. I think we have enough time here. I'm gonna do half on, half off. Same strategy, nothing different. All right, so you're gonna crush that in, crush the adhesive in all the way. Now so I'm gonna flip this over, and we're gonna align it edge to edge here, perfectly corner to bottom corner here. And pin that in place, like so. And apply that tape onto the other side. It's a pretty tight edge, so that's good. And crush that tape in again. be extremely stiff here. Okay, does that sit there? Just kind of folded it in a little bit, but we'll cut that off eventually. Just cleaning up some of the trailing edge here. Okay, now let's flip this over. So it's going to be the same idea on this side, except we're taping this side here. So this is going to require this much tape. Half on, half off. As usual. Compress the adhesive. Flip it over. Line. Corner to corner. Edge to edge. Go. It's a very thick trailing edge, but we're also going to go back to the leading edge and make some changes there. Half on, half off. Crush everything in. This is the first time I've actually done this, but the results look promising so far. And there we go. There we go. 2 scrap pieces. That goes with the scrap. Scrap goes to scrap. Clean up. Clean, clean, clean. And then this kind of just goes over here. And I suppose this would require this surgical minor trim here for this to work. Yep. Yeah, so this might help a little bit. Wasn't good. Wasn't good either. I just ruined that. Here we go. Okay. Go cut that off. Yeah, intakes tend to do that. air resistance causes forces on your plane. It produces forces on your plane, and yeah, it's very easy to destroy things, I suppose, but I don't know. Just about out of time, but I'm willing to go over here. I'm just going to finish both of these vertical stabilizers and see where we go from there, I suppose. But yeah, this is coming together quite nicely. Go. Okay, that looks good. And this side, we're just gonna grab the tape here. I think actually we can go with half width. We don't even need the full width here. There we go, half. Yep, and then now just reinforce this whole edge, I guess. Another piece of tape here. Go. So that's one of the stabilizers done. Without the straw, of course, but that's going to come eventually. Again, I'll just go all day and see what we end up here.
go. That looks decent. Just grab the other side. I guess I'm going to take off some graphite here. There we go. And then this. Take that. Okay, there we go. It's difficult right here. Switch scenes real quick. Nice. Okay. I'm just gonna tape this after, right? Something like that. Just cutting off the excess tape there. And same idea here. That's crazy. Small pieces of tape are so annoying to deal with. They legit just stick to everything. So I'm just gonna slice this real quick again. So like this is why we can't have nice things. I was just gonna say like this is why projects take so freaking long, because it takes a long time for me to make them right. And I have to make them right, because if I don't, I kind of hate myself for that. I'm not diagnosed as a OCD person, but I have a feeling like I'm on that spectrum somewhere. Okay, so that's that. And this is this, I guess.